All right, we've reached the final team in the AFC South. It's the Tennessee Titans. And going into this one, I'm like, I'm not going to find anybody. I'm actually pleasantly surprised, I think. Right off the bat, they just signed Tony Pollard, right? Who people, I think he had a disappointing season, right, with the Cowboys, and that's why the Cowboys got rid of him. But I mean, was it that bad? Or it was odd. Like, it was still a 1,000-yard season, 6 touchdowns. It wasn't the greatest, wasn't the worst, but I think the perception has really gone down, and he is dirt cheap for a possible starting running back who, for a team that's, I mean, it's a different coach, I know, but Tennessee should run the ball, you would hope, and he's going for, on ESPN Drafts right now, Tony Pollard, if I can find him again, $3 on ESPN Drafts. $3. His backup, who I think is an awesome player too, Tyjae Spears, is going for 2.3. I think you can get both of those guys for really, really cheap. What are they going for on Fantasy Pros? Like, what do Fantasy Pros actually value them at?
Yeah, Pollard is still undervalued. He is going as the 31st running back currently for $13. Okay. Once again, this would be like a 12-team, $200 budget, just to give you a general idea. It seems to be the most reliable way to look at it. And then Tyjae Spears, which I very much agree with. I'm a big fan as well. 39th, and he's $8 on here. So I don't think he will get to $8. Honestly, I think Pollard might go up a little bit. I think they're both values. I think this is actually correct as far as Spears goes. And I don't think he'll get to that because he's going to be playing second fiddle. But I think it's more of a split backfield. I think Pollard, as he showed in Dallas 2 years ago, his numbers were very similar. And he got less carries. And if you're giving 200 carries, I feel like that's where he shines. We know that this team can usually run. And Tyjae Spears was averaging 4.5 yards per carry last year, backing up Henry. And obviously, Henry just dominated the touch count, which he should.
Yeah, he should.
But I think both could have very surprising years. And in a place where I don't really want to spend too much on running back, I think you get value on both of them. And then if an injury occurs, you have the handcuff to, someone that will have every touch and all of a sudden is a great value. So I really like the way that's shaping up. And the wide receivers, I will say, it's Will Levis, where the jury's still out. What was he going to do? But that's why I do like the run game even more. But the wide receivers actually are not bad. They give you enough cover where you have DeAndre Hopkins. I know it's later on in his career, but he's still relatively good. Calvin Ridley that came over, and then they got Tyler Boyd, who is a very, pretty good wide receiver as the number 3. And then you have Treylon Burks, who just didn't work out, but he's like the 4th.
Man, if Levis can play, this is interesting. The team's more interesting than I thought. Yeah,
they do have a possibility of being a kind of, I would say, someone that is going to kind of throw in, a wrench in a lot of people's world.
There's a lot of, even the receivers, they're both going under $10 on ESPN right now.
Here's a question on that one, because I was staring at him and I'm like, okay, Hopkins will be the name that you kind of feel safest with, but he is older. Calvin Ridley he has quite the strange career.
And they've signed him to a big contract.
He had moments last year.
Yeah.
And then Tyler Boyd, I feel like he is going to be one that probably just ends up he back ends into the top 30, and you're kind of like, how did that happen?
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. And Will Levis is the one where I'm like, okay, can he be the guy? He had that 2 big games or whatever, and everyone lost their minds, and then he didn't do anything.
Yeah.
I have real questions about whether or not he can make that second-year leap, but if he does,
yeah,
I feel like Calvin Ridley could. I don't know. I'm not sure, but regardless of all that, I still feel really good about the run game.
I feel good about the run game. I think there is value in all this stuff, but it's one of these teams that you don't want to have too much of. You don't want to get the receivers too, because it's just still the Titans. It's Levis. You're banking on a lot. But I like the running backs. I think you get good value sometimes when there's just it's not a sure thing on what's going to happen. And so they go for cheaper, but they could both be good. Or Pollard, maybe Pollard's just good. Everyone liked Pollard last year.
I still like Pollard. I mean, last year was supposedly, and you made a reference to it. Yeah. Supposedly it was a bad year for him, but he had 1,000 yards. He averaged 4 yards per carry, even though he wasn't, doing anything crazy. He just didn't get the touchdowns.
Yeah, I'm for that price, I will take that chance all day long.
Yes, absolutely.
So, all right, I get both Pollard and Spears. I get them both. That's what this. That's the backfield. You get both. You get both. You got to get both, and neither of them are your starters. So, hey, hopefully one emerges. So.
Yeah.
All right, there we go. There's the Titans. There's the AFC South. Next up will be the AFC West. Talk to you guys next time.